Thank you guys. Thank you so much for being willing to meet with me, being willing to let me share with you. I got to tell you, I love this a whole lot more than I thought I would, and for lots of different reasons. But I want you to know that I completely understand and I completely get that thinking about adding something else to your schedule is scary, and that thinking about change is scary, and thinking about committing to something is scary. So I just want you to understand that I get you. I totally have been there. I feel like I'm there probably every other week about something going on in my life. So I just want you to know that I get it and that I feel you. And so because of that, I am more appreciative than you could know that you have decided to take the time out to talk to me and to let me talk to you and kind of get an idea of what this is about, because I think that this could be an incredible thing for you. I think that this could be something that you could just take and run with, and that God can use in your life in ways that you cannot even imagine. So that being said, we've talked a little bit already. I kind of know an idea of what you're, looking for. You mentioned at the show you were looking to kind of get a couple $100 extra a month, that you were looking to be able to pay off some of that student tuition, pay some of those bills. You guys are getting ready to, look at expanding your family. All those things are coming up. And I know that sometimes the idea of starting something new in addition to that can freak you out, but I want you to know that I was there. The reason that I started Premier was because my husband and I have 2 kids. You guys probably know that. We have 2 adopted kids. So we have done the adoption process twice, and I know firsthand that it is not cheap. And that, unfortunately, adoption is a very expensive endeavor. But our heart is to adopt as many children as God will allow us to bring into our family. And so what that means is that we need the resources to do that. So for me, we were looking at moving, looking at expanding our family, but we were also looking at the fact that in order to walk out what we felt God was calling us to do, we had to have the resources on hand. And I'm very thankful that I'm in a position where my husband's job, he provides for us very well, but we didn't have the extra just sitting there to pay for another adoption. And so I get the idea of looking at doing life, but looking at adding something else in. But I'll tell you, there is no better decision than to actually make it your goal, but to walk out those actions to make that happen. And so with Premier, I have looked at lots of different direct sales companies, and there are 2 huge things that made me choose Premier over all of the other companies that I had looked at. So I want to share both of those with you real quick. One of them is the heart behind Premier. It's why Premier is who they are, and that was extremely important to me. The other one is just how it works. The stability that they provide, the way that their business plan is laid out is better than any company that I had seen. And I tell you, I researched a lot of them. I signed up as a discount coach or a discount consultant or whatever for several different groups, because I wanted to make sure that I knew what I was getting into, that I was committing, and I wanted to be 100% committed to whatever I chose. Now, that being said, if you only want to do, 1 show a month, you can be 100% committed to doing 1 show a month. And that's totally fine. But whatever you want to do, know that you're making a good decision there. So when I looked at the heart of Premier and started figuring out who Premier was, I knew that this was where God wanted our family. Because Premier was founded upon the principle that they were going to honor God and serve people. And that is my heart. And I know that's your heart. You want to serve people. You want to minister to people. You want to share the gospel. And that's what Premier does. It gives us an opportunity to meet with women that we may have never met, that we're not ever going to get to church with us, but that will sit and talk to us at a jewelry show. Or we'll see the light that we have, or the confidence, or the calm, or whatever it may be. And so the fact that, you can do that in any direct sales company. You are who you are, and you are called as a Christian to walk that out. But with Premier, it's not only allowed, but it is encouraged. And so I went, before I signed up, I went to what they call Rally, which was basically a one-day conference. And I walked in thinking, okay, we're going to hear about jewelry, hear about training, how they do business. All that sounds great to me. I like business, good way to find out about the company. And they did all of that. They showed the new jewelry. They talked about how to do your job well. But I heard the gospel presented. And I heard them remind all of the women in that room that their goal and that their heart was to minister to others and to be Christ to others. And that they were there to serve. And so when you look at joining a company just to make money, where their goal is to make money, you can tell. You can tell through the customer service. You can tell how things are set up. With Premier, it's not that way. Premier is set up to help you be able to walk out the gospel. Bottom line. They started to be able to, so that they could provide income and provide women a way to get income for single moms and ministry wives. Obviously, they've expanded that because I'm neither a single mom nor a minister's wife, and I do Premier. So it has expanded as far as who they've reached, but their heart is the same. And that is evident in everything that they do. Now, they're humans, they're going to make mistakes, of course. So don't be thinking you're going to see, just God walked out every single second, because I'm sure they'll make a mistake. Haven't encountered one yet, but I'm sure they will. But that being said, you can tell that their heart is service and their heart is to walk out the gospel. So to me, that was a huge reason as to why I chose Premier. The other reason was because of the money. Because, like we talked about, I know you're looking to make a couple $100 extra a month. I was looking to be able to put a little bit aside to start that savings for that next adoption. So I want to share with you a little bit about how they're laid out, how that works. The great part is that if you've ever looked at direct sales, this is where you get your pen and paper out and things get complicated. And you have to figure out where you have to get certain bonuses and what you have to do to get paid. Premier is not that way. It is insanely simple. So simple that I think I drove my Premier mom crazy asking her questions because I could not get it through my head that it was really that simple. But it is. Premier has been around for over 30 years, which means they're not a fad. They're not a major Facebook blow-up trend, but they have the stability that they're not going to go out of business next year, and you're not going to lose your, the income that you're now counting on. They also, because they have that stability, because they've been around so long, they've been through ups and downs. They've figured out a way that works. So let me tell you how exactly that works. You make 50% from the get-go, which means if you sign up tonight and you sell jewelry tomorrow, you're going to make 50%, period. And anything that you sell at suggested retail, that's the case. But not only do you make 50%, but you make 50% on the spot. And what I mean by that is you don't send them to a website, have them figure out the website, figure out what they're doing, because I had that experience, not a good one, with different companies. But you take their order and they write a check to you, which means you go put it in your bank the next day or take a picture on your phone and deposit it right then, which is amazing because, my van's sitting outside, the tires are rotting. We've got to have new tires. And thankfully, we planned for that. But had we not planned for that and I knew, okay, we're going to need to spend $900 on new tires next week, I need to book 3 shows or 2 shows, however many, depending on, hostess, how much I already have saved. But I'm going to book a couple shows to make that money, and I'm going to get it right then, which means I can go pay for those tires. I don't have to wait for Premier to send me a check. I don't have to wait for them to process everything or find out there's something I missed or something I forgot about. So that is incredibly helpful when you're looking at starting a business, is that they treat this like your business. You take the money, you do the orders, you do the work, but you also get rewarded for doing the work. They don't treat you like a child that's going around telling their friends, which, to me was a really big deal. So, like I said, you get 50% from day one, you get it right to you. The other really neat thing about Premier is that they, like I said, it's your business. So they don't require you to have any inventory. They don't require you to meet any quotas. You pay, and you pay your renewal fee next year. When you decide that you love this and you are going to be a jewelry lady for the rest of your life, you get to pay a renewal fee next year. But up to that, you pay your investment. And then you pay as you do the shows. You pay as you work for your expenses. So when I say pay, I mean, you're going to drive to do a show, you're going to pay the gas to do the show, but you're not going to be paying Premier every time you turn around for new jewelry. In fact, you guys saw all the jewelry I had at my shows. I have paid for maybe 8 pieces. Everything else was gifted to me by Premier, meaning that I earned it because they reward you, they help you to do your business. But since you don't have to have inventory, you don't have to worry about that being another upfront expense. You don't have to worry about that being something you have to build in. That was incredibly important to me. And the way that it works out, my husband and I were looking at it, and I'm the more cautious one. I can relate to you. I'm more like you. I was sitting here going, Andrew, that's a lot of money. I don't know that I can do that. I'm not as confident. I'm more shy. What if I don't book any shows? And he said, Melissa, worst case scenario, because there's an option of the boutique, which we talked about a little bit, and we'll talk more about later. We were going to buy the boutique because my husband said there was no way I was signing up without it. because he said, you love the jewelry sells itself. I saw the way you bought that jewelry at that party. So you need a starter kit. So that's what I bought, was the starter kit. And I said, Andrew, what happens if I don't sell it? He said, worst case scenario, you have a year to make back your $400 investment, which if Michelle's right, you can do in a couple of shows. By the way, he was right. I made back my initial investment in 3 weeks. Not everybody can do that, but I did. I worked hard, I was committed, that's what happened. But he said, worst case scenario, you decide you hate it. You do 3 shows, you make back the investment, and you've got $1,300 worth of jewelry to go sell, and you make profit. And I thought, okay, you're right, that's a pretty good deal. It works out. There's really nothing to lose, because unless you are going to commit and you're going to invest it, and then you're going to sit at home and watch TV, and you're never going to tell anybody that you started selling jewelry, they have pretty much set it up so that it's impossible to fail. I kid you not, you have to work at failing, because they've set it up so that if you share what you're doing with anybody, if you have just one person say, hey, I like that necklace, you're already starting to make back that investment. To me, that was a really cool thing. The other thing that they have done that I really like is that you can make your money back not only and make profit not only by retailing but also by sponsoring. So you guys know, because you're listening to me, I love this. And I'll tell you, when I started, we were going to do that adoption savings fund. We looked at the calendar. I said, okay, 2 shows a month. And Andrew said, okay, that's fine. 2 shows a month. We can handle that. And then they let us start doing Facebook shows, which totally changed my life because I didn't have to leave my house. When Andrew was having to work late or when he was out of town, I could put the kiddos in bed and still do a show. And so that was huge to me. And because I'm new to Alabama, so those of you who think I don't know anybody where I am, that's fine. Most of my customers are in New Mexico, and I live in Alabama. But that's just the way that God has worked it out for me. So when I started, I said, okay, 2 shows a month. And then I started doing it, and I realized that I love this. I like selling jewelry. It's fun. I like not having to tell women that they have a problem. I like not having to tell people that they're fat or their complexion's not as good as it could be. Some people can do that, and it sounds like they're giving you a great compliment. I am not one of those people, and so that freaked me out. But being able to tell people, hey, this is fun. Your husband said you get a Valentine's Day present anyway. Why not pick out a piece of jewelry? Or show them how to make the most out of the clothes they already own. I know that I'm being helpful, and we're having a good time. And I get to give women a break, and they get to laugh with me, and they get to learn something, and they get to buy jewelry. And hello, we buy jewelry when we walk into Walmart anyway, so we might as well buy the real stuff, right? And so you know, we've talked about this, that this is something you can tell, I hope, that I really like this. I like to sell the jewelry, but I really love being able to share the opportunity. Because to me, not only have I gotten to meet women that I never would have gotten to meet, and I've gotten to minister to women and have conversations that were so obviously God ordained, but He used Premier to do that, it's incredible to me. But the other thing is that we are now to a point, and I've only been in this for 3 months, and we are now to a point where my husband just told me, quit your part-time job, because you can make a whole lot more money for a whole lot less time doing this. And this doesn't take as much away from our family. And this is something that makes you light up when you talk about it. And that's not. And I never expected it to get there, guys. Like, to be honest, that didn't cross my mind that we'd get there until maybe I decided to renew next year. But now, he laughed at me. He was like, you're going to be the 90-year-old grandmother selling jewelry from your rocking chair to everybody in the nursing home. But really, that might be the case, because this is something that God has used to provide so many different opportunities. So that being said, the other way you make money is by just sharing the opportunity. And guys, I'll tell you, sharing the opportunity of Premier is a great way to share the gospel, because you get to have one-on-one conversations. And you guys just heard me share my heart. You know that I'm a Christian. You know that I love adoption. You know it's important to me because we were talking about selling jewelry. And so this is going to give you an opportunity to witness and to minister and to provide for your family, or to make extra money, to get out of the house, to have, somewhat of a break. All of those things at the same time. And like I said, you also get paid for sponsoring, which means if you sign up tonight to sell jewelry, you make 50%. Like I said, I also make 10%. So I get to make 10% on everything that you sell. And then when you sign up your best friend down the street, you make 10% on what she sells, and I get to make 10%. And then when she signs up her sister, she makes 10%, you make 10%, and I make 10%. And then after that, I'm cut out because it goes 3 levels deep, because that's how far the relationship can feasibly go, which I love. It's back to the service. It's serving people. It's honoring God. It's having those personal relationships. So that's what makes sense. So you're going to continue making money every time you share the opportunity and you have people come alongside you to do what you're doing. And that, to me, is incredibly exciting, because I'll tell you, I'd do it if even I wasn't making commission, because this has been such a great thing in my life, and this has shown me so many different aspects of who I am and of giftings that God has given me that I didn't realize I had until I had this opportunity to use them. And so you get to do that, and I would be standing right here talking to you if you signed up and I made 0. But thankfully, Premier's going to pay me for it anyway, which is really nice. So those are the 2 ways that you can do that. How are we doing on time? You know, I didn't set a time up. Sorry. Okay. So we're almost done. And ladies, if we were not on Facebook, I'll just tell you we'd be having a lot more Q&A. So just know that. Send me your questions. But so we've talked about how it works, what the Heart of Premier is, how you actually make money, what the great part of the opportunity is. And so my question for you now is, what do you think? Like, really, what's your head saying? What's your heart saying? Because I'll tell you, a lot of times they say different things, and that's okay. But sometimes we need to listen to what our heart is saying, because God can be showing us something that we want to do, but our head is saying no. And I'll tell you, from lots of different things that I've dealt with in my life, I dealt with clinical depression. Sometimes your heart is very wrong. Sometimes your head is very wrong. And so I want to talk to you about whatever you're thinking. Even if you think, I love this, but I can't do it right now, that's fine. I will tell you that because I'm your friend, I'm going to show you how you probably can do it right now. Not because I'm pressuring you, not because I want to push you, but because the one thing that I regret, which Michelle does not know, but the one thing I regret is that I knew my Premier mom for almost a year before she told me about Premier. Which, I love her. And it was okay. God's timing is perfect. But I will tell you, seriously, that's the one thing that I hate, is that I didn't know that this opportunity was there. And what I don't want you to do is walk home thinking, I can't do it because it costs too much money, when I can tell you how exactly we can get you that money. Not because I want to pressure you, but because I want you to see, I want you to be able to think outside the box. And I want you to see that Premier allows you to think outside the box. And so we can come up with ways to make this work. They have things in place to help you make that work if that's something that might be too much of a bite right now, or something along those lines. We can figure that out. And if you say it's not the right time right now, that's totally fine. But because I'm your friend, you told me it's not the right time right now, I'm going to talk to you later when it might be the right time. Because I don't want you to forget that this is something that God could be calling you to do. And even if he's not calling you to do it, he had us talk for a reason. You guys are sitting on Facebook Live for a reason. You guys are here tonight for a reason. And so maybe you're watching right now thinking, I don't think this is for me right now, but my sister really, really needs this. That's fine. I'd love to talk to your sister. Because I never know who God's going to put in my path or who we're going to get to communicate with. Like I said, most of you ladies on here tonight I've never actually met in person. But we met through jewelry shows online. But we could become best friends. I've sponsored 2 people so far in those 3 months, and I will tell you, it's been fantastic. One of them's a girl I had never met before. We've still not met in person. But she and I are able to communicate, and God has us walking along a lot of the same paths in life, and we're able to do that together. The other one, Julianne, I don't know if you're on here, the other one is my brother's girlfriend. And this has given us a way to get to know each other that we wouldn't have had otherwise. And so you never know what God is doing, but what I'm asking you tonight is to put aside maybe what you think or what lies Satan may be telling you, and just think about what he's asking you to do. If he's asking you to think about it, if he's asking you to share it with somebody else, or if he is asking you to jump all in and see what we can do. Because like my husband said, the worst case scenario, you've got a year to make $400. And I guarantee you, if you do a couple shows, you're going to make the $400. So there's nothing to lose. If you're worried about it all at one time, Premier has a way to fix that. So that's not an option. But if you are worried about that, we can take care of that. Worst case scenario, you sign up, you decide I don't like this. You've made some really good friends. You've got a lot of great jewelry that you love or you could sell or whatever else. And you've been able to take a leap, which I can guarantee you, regardless of how the outcome is, this leap is going to show you things about you that you didn't know. And it's going to show you things about God that you didn't know. So anyway, thanks for talking to me tonight. I appreciate getting to share with you. I appreciate getting to talk with you. And I hope we're going to have lots more conversations about this later. So there you go. All right, ladies that are on this, I'm going to close it out, and I'm not being rude. But if you guys have questions, send them to me, and I'll answer them while we're at training. So thanks, guys. Bye.